Guest House here on Nile Avenue. Now, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has received a special invitation to virtually participate in the Primakov Readings International Forum to be held in Moscow, Russia from the 27th to the 28th of November 2023. Primakov Readings International Forum brings together decision makers and representatives of various think tanks and universities from over 30 countries to engage in an intensive debate on current and future global challenges. The invitation was extended to President Museveni this afternoon at State House Entebbe by a delegation from Russia led by Mr. Yukin Ergeni. Now, the meeting was also attended by the First Lady and Minister for Education and Sports, Janet Kataha Museveni. The delegation requested President Museveni to be a special speaker at the panel discussion on Russia-Africa, from program directives to practical results. Mr. Yukin informed the president that the people of Russia hold him in high esteem and respect. President Museveni readily accepted to participate virtually in the conference, whose theme is post-globalization horizons, saying that there is a lot in common between Africa and Russia. In the same meeting, President Museveni discussed with his guests the possibility of attracting Russian investors to Uganda. Mr. Yukin informed President Museveni that they are interested in building a pharmaceutical factory in Uganda that will manufacture drugs. He added that they also want to put up a fertilizer plant and another modern technology factory for agro-processing, especially for drying fruits. The State Minister for Veteran Affairs and Primary Healthcare is preparing a report on the ongoing boundary conflicts between Uganda and South Sudan. The report, once completed, will be forwarded to the President to facilitate the resolution of this pressing issue. In the other news, the police has recovered a stolen gun in Otuke district that was taken by an armed robber. Additionally, 2 other robbers were killed in an incident in Busia. Let's have more in this story.
A delegation led by the Minister of State for Veteran Affairs, Huda Oleru, and the State Minister for Primary Education, Muriku Kaduchu, visited Moyo and Yumbe to work towards a lasting solution to the border boundary disagreements with South Sudan.
A strong area that was agreed upon was the verification of the borderline and its demarcation.
Uganda police recovered 5 cows and a donkey in Kenya after pursuing suspected Pokot warriors who had raided Buko and allegedly shot a parish councillor.
And efforts to recover the other 3 cows were in place, but that is what was happening along our borderlines. There was a cross-border meeting by the regional security teams on both sides.
There was a firefight in Busia district, resulting in the death of 2 armed robbers during a security operation. 2 guns were recovered.
We recovered an AK-47 gun with 16 rounds, cash 21,175,000, Kenya shilling 612,000, 3 phones.
Police also recovered a gun which had been stolen from police and used by a notorious robber in Otuke.
Of course, he failed to surrender, which prompted. He was also put out of action. We recovered the gun with 6 rounds. He had used 24 because at the time of stealing that gun, there were 30 rounds.
Meanwhile, the Immigration Department has revealed that over 10,000 passports are being held illegally by labor export companies.
Claiming that they are waiting for contracts to be given to them from the Middle East countries. We did carry out some investigation and discovered that one such company located somewhere in Kampala is actually keeping 2,000 passports in their office.
In other news, on Operation Fika Salama for September 2023, 380 drivers were captured by CCTV cameras along Kampala-Entebbe Expressway and were all issued express tickets. 472 individuals driving under the influence of alcohol were arrested, detained, fingerprinted and issued express tickets. 569 motorcycles were impounded for violating traffic regulations. Police are launching an operation to ensure every vehicle user has emergency warning signs on board. Ivan Kahwa, UBC News.
Thanks, Kawa, for that story there. Now, Forum for Democratic Change, FDC party Katonga faction, has issued electoral roadmap for the party structures elections that will kick off on the 4th of October with party structures conferences and ends with the National Delegates Conference in March 2024. While issuing the roadmap, the FDC Katonga faction interim president, Erias Lukwago, urged party supporters to ignore party activities organized by the Kijjannangoma faction led by Patrick Oboy Amuriat. We have more in this story.
For the delegates conference to be convened on 15th of March.
The controversies in Forum for Democratic Change FDC party seems to attract more attention, with no remedies of seeing them drawing to a logical conclusion, as two factions of the Katonga led by Erias Lukwago and that of Kijjannangoma led by Engineer Patrick Amuriat Oboy continue to run separate activities of the party in what seems to be another boxy war that will draw battle lines among party supporters. The Katonga faction has issued a party electoral roadmap for party structures elections contrary to the plans of the legitimate party leadership at Kijjannangoma. According to the roadmap, the process will kick off on October 4th with youth and women dialogue, followed by the founders dialogue on 6th October and nationwide tours from 14th November.
As a party, we have to move to various parts of the country to do extensive mobilization. You all know the disarray and damage that the current leadership at Niger has caused to the brand. So part of the mandate that the delegates gave to the new leadership is to re-energize, to reinvigorate our party support, to go out to our supporters, to reorient them into the ideals of the FDC.
National Delegates Conference is slated for 15th March 2024, and Katonga faction interim president Erias Lukwago urged the party supporters to ignore party activities organized by the Kijjannangoma faction led by Patrick Amuriat Oboy.
The Constitution is very, very clear. Article 23 provides that all members of the National Executive Committee shall be elected at a National Delegates Conference. That is Article 23, Clause 3. And in Article 28, the mandate to convene that delegates conference is vested in the office of the National Chairperson. So you wait for the notice that will be issued by the Ambassador Birigwa as the National Chairperson for the delegates conference to be convened on 15th of March. That should be very, very clear, should be made very, very clear to members of the party. So whoever attempts to or purports to convene another delegates conference outside that framework, they are on a frolic of their own.
Ago says the roadmap that will last for 6 months is aimed at rejuvenating the FDC party.
A member of the FDC, you are an eminent person in the FDC, you are a leader in FDC, you are a well-wisher in FDC, and all those who want to realign the party back to its original mission and agenda, vision, the ideals. Our day is 6th. It's a day of rejuvenation of the party. It's a rebirth of the party. Back to the roots, back to the rails, back to the original mission and the vision of the party. So that is the day we have set aside. All of you, please mark that the 6th. We are going to tell you the place where we are going to be.
The controversy that has torn FDC into pieces started last month after party leaders disagreed with the FDC Secretary General Nandala Mafabi and the party president Patrick Amuriat Oboy over an unknown source and amount of money that the party received during the 2021 presidential polls. Philip Aguta for UBC News in Kampala.
Now, in a related development, the FDC Electoral Commission chairperson at Kijjannangoma, Boniface Bamwenda, has said that elections of National Executive Committee members of the party are to take place on the 6th of October at Patidar Samaj Sports Ground in Mulago. While addressing the media, Mr. Bamwenda said 1,271 people are expected to vote from 123 districts which participated in the party structures elections. He also clarified that he has not received any court letter and is also doing his work as he is supposed to do, although members at Katonga had threatened to sue him in courts of law for calling a delegates conference, yet he is not the one mandated to do that in the party constitution. Take a watch.
These voters, election observers, and other related persons shall be accredited at the party headquarters on Thursday, the 5th of October 2023. Categories of voters invited for this particular election are district chairperson, district general secretary, District Secretary for Publicity and Mobilization. The invited voters are Chairperson and General Secretary, of whom one must be a female. As the Party Electoral Commission, we are prepared to handle this election with maximum respect of the FDC electoral guidelines and the party constitution. We are here, we have done exemplary work, and by the way, those whom you think are really against, I was here nominating them, and they thanked me. They said, you have done a very good job for mayor, for primary elections, for speaker, for state council. Those court orders were directed towards extraordinary delegates conference in particular. If it is out of the way, all the other business of the party were not touched, my brother. It was only in that particular respect of the extraordinary delegates conference. So we have to continue with the conference, which is going to elect the leaders.
But the two camps of FDC, and we don't know whether the delegates conference will take place at Kijjannangoma or it won't, as Mr. Lukwago earlier on said. Now to matters pertaining to health, and over 700 people have attended the first day of the week-long surgical health camp at Mulago National Referral Hospital. The Executive Director of Mulago Hospital, Dr. Rosemary Byanyima, noted that surgical camp is aimed at creating awareness about the strides made by the hospital toward venturing into specialized and super specialized surgeries. We have more in this story.
Thousands of Ugandans embraced the planned week-long surgical health camp at Mulago National Referral Hospital, aimed at reducing backlog of patients who have been awaiting surgery. A number of complicated procedures in the areas of neurosurgery, ophthalmology, orthopedic surgeries, and other forms of surgeries to solve gastrointestinal complications for both adults and children were conducted.
We want to showcase the surgical services that we offer because our specialists are out here in the tent. Normally, we expect people to be referred here, but now we are open for anyone to walk in. We examine and determine which surgical condition you have. If you do not have any problem, we tell you to go home. If your problem is minor and can be handled in a peripheral center, we shall advise you accordingly. Then those whom we need to operate, we shall take them through the examinations that are required to prepare them for operations, and then we carry out the operations. Don't wait for a campaign, for a surgical camp or a medical camp, but once in a while, go for routine medical examination.
The doctors, however, expressed concern that neurosurgery division is being burdened despite the technological advances made due to the increase in avoidable road traffic injuries exhibited by border riders.
We have surgeries taking place in spine, the spine surgery taking place. We have trauma, fixing bones, people who have had fractures and having their fractures repaired. We have joint replacement surgery ongoing, total hip and total knee. And we have a number of corrective surgeries for deformities in orthopedics. ENT, a number of surgeries are taking place, many in children, those who have difficulty in breathing and airway blockages being unblocked. We have surgeries in colorectal, surgeries in GI, upper GI surgery going on. Then we have also eye care taking place, eye examination. So all the ranges of surgeries are taking place. The surgeries in breast and endocrine. There is a surgery of cardiothoracic surgery, that's the chest, which is ongoing. So almost all the specialties are actually engaged in surgeries as I speak of now. Specialties have an average of 4 to 5 patients for today. So we assume that every day they have a minimum of 5 surgeries for almost every specialty. And we are about 16. So we expect between 60 and 70 patients operated daily.
The management of the hospital says surgeries are part of the many treatments they are going to handle and urge the public to come for consultation and assessment in the 16 clinical areas. Zahara Abigaba, UBC News.
Now, more than 150 members of the family of Prince Thomas Tetemwa Goloba, including children, grandchildren and grandparents, remain puzzled after finding the graves of their late foster parents dug out and the remains taken to an unknown place. The exhuming process of more than 45 bodies was at Nakaja village, Chagwe County in Mukono district. Ivan Juko reports.
The scary incident happened at Nakasaja village, Champis, situated in Chagwe County, Mukono district, and the residents lamented that it took place in the morning.
So wava mukasa Isaac kuba banzala bambejja gano mu Luganda tuba tugayita amasiro. Mama wange ye Mbejja Florence Kagere era ye basewali mu maaso g'omulangira Lumama.
According to residents, they saw a group of men led by some members of the family. Notable among them was Juliet Nansanze and Wasajja Kizito.
Ebuuza kiki nendowooza nti babakanyiza ne family kuba ebijja babisengula bulijjo naye ate bugenze okwetooloola ng'ate ensanga abamu bakomyewo nga beekalakasi tebamanyi bantu baabwe gye babatutte.
However, they were surprised to see disturbing the peace of the dead by demolishing the graves and later exhumed the remains of the dead that were buried over 100 years ago.
Bantegeereza omuganda we nankubira essimu n'agamba nti ng'abakadde baabasiguddewo nentegeezaako bannange ng'ebijja byonna nga mbiraba bino nga baabisimye zino twasigaza mpompogoma zokka.
Entaana eyo gy'olaba ya jjajjange azaala kitange Omulangira Thomas Goloba nje bamututte
eddoboozi mpitibwa Omumbejja National Rest ngazaalibwa omugenzi Mulangira Lumamba John abadde yaziikibwa ne buli omu alaba ku zzansanze ali omu ku famire yasengudde bajjajja ne bakitaffe.
Residents criticized the manner in which the team dug out the remains, leaving the bones scattered all over the place and the coffins dumped in the bush.
Tatunda bintu by'abajjajjaffe naye tukusaba bwe baba babaleese eyo sayidi z'ewammwe mutuyambe mukululuta maguzi tuyambe.
Sakabanda minisita w'e Kampala nze muwala onza akulaajanira Nambi nkulaajanira otuyambe tatange bamusigudde bajja Basenga.
Dorothy Nakayenga said all the dead who were laid to rest at the graveyard were taken to an unknown location, leaving behind empty coffins. She appealed to Juliet Nansanze and Kizito Wasajja to tell them where they relocated the remains so that they can be buried in a decent manner.
Mboyo Sugundi Juliet Nansanze ne Mwanyina Wasajja bannange mbasaba busabi banyambe bambulire taata wange gye bamutadde bannyinaze baganda bange ne bajjajjange bonna nze sibalinaako mutawaana n'ogumu.
The family have now filed a case of disturbing the peace of their ancestors, theft of their remains, and whoever sees people or vehicles carrying the remains to inform the immediate police station.
Ino funeral service muveyo mutubulire bakadde baffe gye mwaba tutte.
They lodged a complaint with the Champis police.
Batugambye police yazze 99 yabadde ye Champis.
Bitewedde twafuna okwemulugunya kuva mu b'enganda abamu nga balumiriza muganda waabwe okugenda maaso n'okuziikula abafu. Kufuna alipoota eno twakubira omuntu ono gwe balumiriza nategeeza nga bwe yabadde alina ekiwandiiko kya kkooti okukola ekikolwa kino. So situlindiridde kyakufuna kopi y'ekiwandiiko kya kkooti eno naye nga twaguddewo general inquiry file nga kwotadde n'okumanya ekikolwa kino yakikola ku wiikendi oba yakikola ku nnaku ezikolebwamu.
I'm Ivan Juko for UBC.
Very, very sad story there. Thank you, Juko. And now we'll be taking a short break, but we'll be returning with much more. Do stay with us.
Sent to transport to the wrong person. Here's how to reverse it with MTN Mobile Money. Dial *165#. Select My Account. Select Initiate Reversal. You will see your last 3 transactions. Select the transaction you want to reverse. Enter your mobile money PIN and you'll get an SMS confirmation that the transaction has been blocked from being withdrawn. And that's it. Please note, only transactions that haven't been withdrawn can be reversed.
In this family, we can't agree on anything.
Martha.
We can't even agree on what to watch. All the games to play.
Martha.
Ndowoza Mulabi, we can't even agree on what to eat. At least the one thing for now we can all agree on is the soap to use. He likes that it's big and lasts long. Anti-economy. I like that it keeps my skin smooth. Ate alina echovu. And the children like that. It smells amazing. Everyone is happy. Movit soap comes in 4 fantastic flavors. Movit family soap is truly soap for the whole family.
Movit. All day confidence.
Hello, Mom. How did you sleep? How is Salongo? Oh, Mommy, how is Grandma? And Simba, the dog, yeah, the funny one.
Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel Bona voice bundles. Dial *100*1#. Select Call Bona to choose bundles from as low as 1,000 shillings from daily, weekly, monthly, or bundles that don't expire. Call Bona on any network in Uganda with Airtel. A reason to imagine.
Tata and Mama Sarah.
Wanji?
We did all we could. Naye we couldn't save her. I'm sorry. You brought her in very late. Malaria destroyed her organs and reduced her blood levels. She was anemic. You know how dangerous malaria is. I am sorry, but malaria has killed your daughter.
Malaria kills more people in Uganda than any other disease. Protect your loved ones from this enemy. Ensure everyone in your family sleeps under a mosquito net every night, whether it's a cold or hot season, to protect them from malaria. In the event that any of your family members shows malaria signs and symptoms, take them to the nearest health center immediately to prevent complications from malaria that could result into death. Together, we can chase malaria out of Uganda. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from Global Fund.
Did you know that you can safely and conveniently make your school fees payments anytime, any school, anywhere using Airtel Money? Oh yes! Simply pick up your phone and dial *185#. Select option 6, school fees. Choose between school pay, peg pay, or shore pay. Enter student number. Enter amount, confirm name and transaction. Enter Airtel Money PIN. A confirmation message will be sent to you upon a successful transaction. Airtel Money. instant, secure, borderless.
Enjoy the true Ugandan coffee experience as we commemorate the rich legacy of Uganda's Arabica coffee this International Coffee Day. The Coffee Day celebration will be held on the 5th of October 2023 at Agri-Evolve Limited in Nyabirongo Parish, Kisinga Town Council in Kasese District, under the theme Celebrating Arabica Coffee from the foothills of Mount Rwenzori. This event is organized by Uganda Coffee Development Authority and Uganda Coffee Federation with support from Agri-Evolve, USAID, Feed the Future, the European Union, Private Sector Foundation Uganda, Rainforest Alliance, Kenya Ports Authority, and EcoBank.
Uganda is a source, transit, and destination for adults and children who are either forced or deceived into forced labor, organ harvest, sacrifice, and commercial exploitation. Trafficking in persons is a serious crime and gross violation of human rights. Report suspects of trafficking in persons to police for investigation and prosecution. Suspects are either close friends or relatives. Victims of trafficking are not criminals and need protection. This message is brought to you by the Coordination Office for Prevention of Trafficking in Persons, Ministry of Internal Affairs.
The 9th of October is a special day in Uganda. We remember our past, celebrate our present, and dream of a brighter future. It is a day to celebrate independence with pride and confidence. The 61st Independence Day celebrations under the theme Sustaining a United and Progressive Nation, Taking Charge of Our Future as a Nation, will take place in Kijjannangoma District on Monday, 9th October 2023.
Welcome back from that break, and you are still watching UBC News here on UBC here at UBC TV, and of course welcome back from that break. Now remember that recently Uganda, Kenya and Tanzania won the bid to host the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations, and what a privilege it is for the region to host that prestigious tourney. It's been a long time since it last happened in the region, and the last time it happened probably I think it was Ethiopia that hosted. But tonight we are very, very privileged to be joined in the studio by none other than the person who was chosen or elected to be the spokesperson of the EAC Pamoja bid, and that is Mr. Mulindwa Rogers. Mr. Mulindwa, good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, thank you, and to our viewers, good evening.
Happy to see you here, because I would have expected you to be the first person to be in our studios after the EAC region had won the bid. But anyway, here we are, and this is a great tournament that the region is going to host. Yeah. And of course, the question on many Ugandans' lips is, how prepared are we as a country, first, but also as EAC region, prepared to host this very, very big tournament?
We are very prepared, but even before I get to that, we must, in the special way, thank His Excellency the President. He had a direct and an invisible hand in the success of this East African Pamoja. Some people don't want to believe it, but that's a fact written thickly on the walls of Africa. Mm-hmm. The phone calls he made, the conversation he had with the president of CAF when he came here. Even Mama, Janet Museveni, she's the one who signed, actually who gave the government commitment as a requirement by CAF.
And of course this being in her
yes,
docket.
But because CAF said if the government cannot commit itself, then we can't consider you. So Mama signed, Janet Museveni, the commitment letter. Mm-hmm. The Speaker and all the others below them, we want to commend them, because even the Deputy Speaker were together in Morocco. So we are ready. Why do I confirm that we are ready? We have got the government commitment that we shall have more facilities constructed. But even before that, what we submitted in the bid is good enough. Nambole, stadium, government has already released 97 billion. Work is in progress.
The government of Uganda.
Work is in progress, and I've been assured by the management that the facility will be ready latest January next year. Because we are going to start the World Cup qualifiers in November, we shall miss playing home. But then the match, the next 2 games to be played in March, we shall be home in Nambole. So besides that, we submitted Nachivubo. I've had a lot of talk about Nachivubo, but when the inspectors came here, they were convinced that Nachivubo can equally be a good facility. We also submitted Chitende. We as match the grounds. Then we submitted Kisu and Mutesa 2 Wankulukuku as training grounds. But we also had other projects, Garuga, then Akibwa, and then Hoima. So we shall be ready. I have been privileged to attend AFCON elsewhere. I was a CAF official in Ebebein in Equatorial Guinea. I saw what was being done. They had only 2 years, but they did a lot. We have 4 years. What the government should do is to speed up the process. If the process can be speeded up, as the FUFA, we are not interested in the government money. We are telling the government, put the facilities in place. If the government can go into negotiations with any company, a contractor, to build the Hoima Stadium, to build the Akibwa, we shall be very grateful. So as the FUFA, we are more interested in the facilities than the money. And there is also a commitment fee government has to pay, which has to go a little bit faster.
Do they pay to CAF?
Yes, to CAF, but as commitment fund, we are required to pay $90 million as a host nation, but that money will be shared among Uganda, Kenya, and Tanzania, so $30 million. If we were hosting alone, we would have paid 90. But that money gets back to us. It's just a commitment money there, but it gets back to us to do the operational work. So there's nothing to worry. So in terms of the airport, we are lucky that by the time we even submitted in our bid, Entebbe International Airport was under construction and under expansion. I'm told we are now going to sit on 27-acre piece of land, so that when the CAF guys were here, they looked at the facility and it was good work in progress. The international airport in Kabalega was also another area that earned some good marks because the work was in progress. So that was also a very good thing. But even hotels in Kampala, I've seen a Hilton here, I've seen what. So when they looked at these things, they said, Uganda, you are more than ready.
The facilities
because
are in place.
If we had started the construction of Nachivubo after, we wouldn't have got marks. Because yes, we have areas for green fields, Lila, Fakibwa, Hoima, but there was nothing. So they had to rely on what was available to award us marks. And by the time we went into the voting, Uganda was ranked number 2 after Algeria. Yes, we are number 2 after Algeria. Then Senegal was number 3. Botswana was number 4. Surprisingly, Nigeria was...
You didn't do any lobbying?
No, we did. It required a lot of lobbying. You see, who are the voters in CAF? The executive members of CAF, and there are 24. And in our region, Sakafa region, you only have Djibouti, Suleiman Wabel, and then you have Sudan, Dr. Mutasim. Then the other one from Somalia was stopped from voting simply because his term had expired, Abidigan Said. So we started with only 2 votes. Wow. So we had to go out to the others. Fortunately, the law was clear that if you are an interested party, then you don't participate in the election. That's how, first of all, Botswana had applied, and they had a member in the executive. That member could not vote. Senegal, first vice president of CAF, comes from Senegal. He couldn't vote. Nigeria had an executive member, couldn't vote. Morocco had an executive member, couldn't vote. Though we are not in the same way. They were for 2025, we are 2027. But they couldn't vote. Then there are others who never turned up. Because Tunisia did not come. The Mali president was in prison. He, I think, was arrested over resource mismanagement. Then we also had the president of CAF himself who didn't cast a vote because he had to be neutral. So by the time we went into the real voting, the voters were only 15.
Wow.
Now, that's why I said in the beginning that we had to thank the president of Uganda, January 7. I must mention here, it's not a crime, that there are phone calls that came direct from him to other countries, and then those countries spoke to the chairpersons. Because lobbying is normal. It wasn't bribing, but lobbying. If the president of Uganda picks a call to talk to a counterpart in Malawi or somebody in Morocco, that was okay. He did us a very good do. And let me tell you, by the way, without the government support, this mission was a little bit harder. They wouldn't have pulled it off.
That's why actually when you look at the other countries, their presidents were also very happy, but also the members.
There were a number of reasons why we won. One of them, the reasons were advanced, why we are better off than the others, was East Africa is a world tourism destination. Everybody would like to see the source of the Nile, the beautiful animals in the national park, the Kilimanjaro, the Mombasa, the what. So everybody was convinced. Then we also said yes. But in between us, you need a flight of 1 hour from Uganda to Kenya, 45 minutes, from Kenya to Tanzania 1 hour, from Tanzania to Kenya 1 hour. So you can be here, watch a match here, board the flight, go to Kenya, watch another one in the afternoon, continue to Dar es Salaam. Said, wow, this is unbelievable. Then we also talked about it is 300 million people coming together. 300 the population of the 3 countries. And we said these people last watched Africa Cup of Nations. The closest it came to East Africa was the one you said in Ethiopia, 1976.
That's way long.
I was 4 years old. Others were not yet born. So for instance, the Kenyan FA president said he was not born by that time. So you can't tell him you had AFCON in the Sakafa.
He doesn't know.
Yes. So we had quite a number of things. Actually, we also told them that you need 1 tourism visa to come to 7 East African community countries. 1 visa. You don't need to go.
That is a plus, actually. Yes. So many people end up coming.
I have heard some people saying bidding jointly was a sign of weakness. Well, no. America is bidding, is having a joint, is going to host World Cup together with Mexico and Canada.
And it has happened before in Europe.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yes, they're big economies. Perhaps USA would have done it alone. So it's really a very big opportunity. What do we need to do now is to position ourselves as a country.
And I was coming to that because when we talk when we look at all these people that will be coming to the country, to these respective, ESA partner states, we have so many. But are we in position to, accommodate those people? How are our hotels, for example? Are they up to the standard?
We are. I think we are more than ready. Chogam was here for just 3 days, but a lot of things were done, including construction of some hotels. I think Imperial Real was constructed around the same time. We have 4 years. Actually, we have the whole of 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027. And then the tournament will be here in January 2028. But we must have completed all this by 2025 December.
Because some people have actually been asking, yes, you've talked about all these the stadiums that we have and that you presented to CAF, but also people are saying, but can't we have another stadium at the maybe level of Nelson Mandela International Stadium, or even better than that?
Yeah, it's very necessary. But the CAF requirement was each country was required to have 1 stadium with a 40,000 capacity seater capacity, and then 2 others with a 15,000 seater or above. So when we looked at this, we said, okay, if that's what you want, here is Nambole. Here is an achievable, and here is Chitende.
Okay.
And they looked at them, they said, yes, this is okay. But for us, we are proceeding to say we can have more. Because we are going to have more inspections. And these inspections will be detailed. The other time we could say, no, in this stadium here we are going to put a mixed zone. This will be the dressing room. But now they are coming even to look at the size of the seat. If Sadio Mane is coming here, where is he going to sit? If Mohamed Salah is coming, is the seat comfortable for him? These are things to the dot. If the hotels are saying, is this the hotel? What about the size of the blankets? Are they the Kasese sizes, or is this something different? So actually all the details will be looked into. So we have our part to play as a federation to prepare a strong national team to compete in this tournament. If possible, we win the trophy.
And that is
but now also the government has their role to play. What you want to do as FIFA now, we have already gone back to CAF to tell them that before we get to 2027, can you give us an opportunity to host the CHAN? to rehearse, because the requirements for Chan are a little bit low.
Exactly.
We can play even in so many other facilities. So if that opportunity can come, we shall be very grateful. But whoever finds President Yoweri Museveni, thank him for this. Whoever finds Mama Janet Museveni, thank him. Thank her. When you see the Right Honourable Speaker of Parliament, Anita Monks, thank her. The FUFA President, Moses Mulago, thank him. And the Minister for State for Sports. Peter Gwang. These people, and the Deputy Speaker, I'm telling you,
they played a pivotal role.
We have all worked, yes. I've done my part. But it would have been very difficult without the arm of the government.
Thank you so much, Rogers. And of course, I cannot go any further than that because you've actually tackled all the things that I wanted to talk about. And via that has been Mr. Mulino Rogers. He is the chosen spokesperson for the East Africa Pamoja bid. And of course, that we are talking about the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations. Uganda will be blessed to be part of these countries that are going to host it. Thank you so much, Rogers. We'll definitely come back to you and talk more.
I will be available.
Okay,
when I'm here, I'm at home.
Please, and most welcome. Thank you so much. And
kama mmetaka nirudi hapo kuongea Kiswahili, nitaongea Kiswahili.
Tutakuita kabisa. Thank you so much. And this is News Tonight. We'll take a short break and return with much more.
Uncle, you should see London.
Oh, my boy. This has been 5 years. You should see Uganda.
Yes. Uncle Marcus, that's my former school.
Soon, there will be more than 1 million children learning like this for free.
Thank you, Uganda, for imagining it with us and making us the fastest growing telecom in the country over the past 5 years.
The Women Trade Fair for this year brings you the Black Friday earlier than ever before. Get ready to buy what you need at a 50% discount. Home appliances like fridges, cookers, TVs and so much more. Bodas, tukutukus, soap, detergent, cooking oil, sugar, rice and so much more. Don't miss to get what you've been longing for at a discounted price of up to 50% at the Women Trade Fair Black Friday from 3rd to 10th October, proudly sponsored by Total Energy, Science, Technology and Innovation Secretariat, Stanbic Bank, Uganda Breweries Limited, Tembo Seals, Uganda Bati, Simba Automotives, and Node Group.
Welcome back. Let's now move on with our news and we go to Nwoya District, where Nwoya District local government leaders want the upcoming Nile Basin Development Forum Conference to prioritize promotion of tree planting to remedy the depleted forest cover in the Nile Basin. Emmanuel Orach, the LC5 chairperson of Nwoya District, says local governments like Nwoya need massive support to back the ongoing tree planting campaign targeting to plant and grow at least 1.3 million trees. Now, this call comes in the wake of persistent tree cutting for charcoal production, despite a presidential directive banning commercial charcoal production across the country. We have more in this story.
Recently, President Yoweri Museveni banned commercial charcoal burning for export after it was established to be the leading cause for massive forest cover loss across the country. This directive, however, is yet to be appreciated as charcoal production remains a lucrative business in northern Uganda.
There is a say that there's poverty, so it is the only source of quick money, and so they decide to go and cut trees.
As Uganda prepares to host the 7th International Nile Basin Development Forum Conference this month, Nwoya district leaders have outlined issues that should take center stage during the conference, with promotion of tree planting top on agenda.
Request to them is to help us even surpass the 1.2 million trees that we are now planting in Nwoya. That is the water need. And the more I want is, to have actually those fruit trees to the families, the perennial, high-value crops that can generate income to people. And also support the initiative for families or people who are interested in doing charcoal burning and plant the trees for charcoal burning specifically. So we save our indigenous trees from being devastated and cut down. That is my main interest now.
Once we still rely on charcoal or biomass for home consumption and home use, then we may not have the kind of mileage that we expect to ensure that we save our environment.
These views were aired as Anaha Town Council in Noya District hosted the workers of the 700-kilometer Nile Basin Walk. Earlier, the workers paid a courtesy call to the Bukona Agro Processors Company, known for production of energy-saving stoves. The green energy ethanol stoves are made to use purely ethanol that is processed from agricultural produce like maize, sorghum, and cassava flour. These products are ground, fermented, and later distilled to produce the ethanol that in turn is used to run the stoves.
So in a way, it should stop deforestation. And if you have to compare it number-wise, you can say like usage of every 6 stoves will save 1 acre of deforestation annually.
This is something very good that any household can afford, so that we stop using of firewood. This is an alternative that we have been asking for. Government must invest in this so that this thing can be sold to Ugandans at a cheaper price.
By this time, the workers had covered about 185 kilometers of the 700-kilometer trek to Kampala. Dorcas Kimono, UBC TV News.
Thanks, Dorcas, for that story, and we believe you'll keep walking. Now, the Nigeria High Commissioner to Uganda, Ismail Alatise, has tipped African countries on cooperation trade to grow their economies. He was speaking during the 63rd independence celebrations for Nigeria at his residence here in Kampala.
Nigeria High Commission in Uganda has celebrated her country's 63rd independence anniversary on the theme, Renewed Hope for Unity. Nigeria High Commissioner Ismail Alati says African countries must strengthen cooperation in trade in order to grow their economies.
In May this year, we organized a forum. We call it the Nigeria-Uganda Business and Investment Forum. That was one of the first things we did. Because during that occasion, we were able to bring participants from both sides. We discussed the way forward. We look at the various obstacles, militating against the bilateral trade between the two countries. Why is it so low? So we identify one of the problems as transports.
He commended Uganda Airlines for the direct flight from Entebbe to Lagos. The inaugural flight starts on 19th October 2023, and some lucky individuals won tickets to travel to Nigeria.
Again, now that Uganda Airlines will begin to fly to Nigeria directly, that is going to enhance trade between the two countries, because the problem of transport will now be drastically reduced. People can now transport their goods from either side, So that is one of the things that we have achieved, because it was actually one of the major problems facing the traders, the business people from the two sides.
The chief guest, also Minister for Foreign Affairs, General Jeje Odong, urged African governments to optimize the African Continental Free Trade Area to increase trade volumes among African countries.
Africa is expected to average growth of 4% of the GDP per annum. The rest of the world is expected to perform at between 2.7 and 3.2. The African continental free trade area therefore presents a major opportunity for the African countries to boost intra-Africa trade, reduce poverty, and broaden economic inclusion. Our two countries of Uganda and Nigeria should therefore strengthen economic partnership and take advantage of the continental free trade area.
Okay, can we give it to the MC Dorina? All the way from Cavendish University, Uganda, Professor Omolade Olunike Okobola.
Business news, and we're looking at innovation, and of course architects across Africa have been urged to hold their passion and profession close to their thoughts in order to spur innovation and distinct solutions to the current architectural gaps affecting the profession. The communication was made during a closure of a 3-day African Congress for architect students held at the International University of East Africa here in Kampala.
To address challenges associated with architecture design on the African continent, the International University of East Africa inaugurated an African Congress for architect students. The 3-day Congress that started on the 30th of September to 2nd of October 2023 was attended by over 1,000 students from various universities across the African continent.
It's an important event because it's the first time that the students of different schools of architecture, exactly from 37 universities of 22 African countries, are united for promoting, improving the capacities and the skills of the future generations.
Providing a platform for curriculum guidance, training and research for architects is also a major objective of this Congress.
How do we train our architects so that we can bring in creativity, African indigenous knowledge on architecture, creative thinking, innovation in the field of architecture?
Usually people don't know what is an architect, why they need an architect. That's very important for us to teach them what is the aim, what is the necessity of an architect.
Students and architects were called upon to respect and love their profession through being innovative and embracing technology.
Please keep your passion. Don't do anything without this passion. The guidelines for our lives as architects is passion for improving the quality of life of all the society.
The student of architecture to now delve into other territories, law, business, etc. It is very true that it's needed, because when you get into the field and you realize that you have only architecture, you miss out on a lot.
We are innovating, pushing for innovation in different areas, in law, in science, in technology, and in architecture.
In honor of the late architect William Sentogo, who started the African Union of Architects in 1981, they launched the Sentogo Africa Student Architecture Scholarships.
This scholarship program would be dedicated to students across Africa. We have 5 regions in the continent, so we will ensure that the students that deserve the most get access to that type of scholarship, which will allow especially student mobility across the continent.
Other participants of the
Now let's look at today's forex rates, and the British pound closed at an exchange rate of 4,582 shillings at the end of the day, and it was the strongest of the currencies that were listed today, as you can see on your screen. But let's take a deeper look into how the shilling fared today against those selected local and international currencies. Sports news now, and 30 rally drivers are lined up for the upcoming Gomba Sembabuli Championship on the 20th of this month. So far, seasoned driver Ponsiano Rwakataka, who has been missing out of action, is back into contention. We have more in this story.
Seasoned rally driver Ponsiano Rwakataka, who was recently released from jail, is back on the racing track. Ponsiano says he missed out on years without racing, believing he would try his best to catch up with the big guys in the industry. He has been lined up to race in the upcoming Gomba Sembabule rally that has recently been included on the national rally calendar. So far, 30 drivers have confirmed the 20th October race. AFCON is sponsoring Rwakataka in all the remaining rallies this year. We want
to support different sports personalities, and we have been trying to basically look at teams which are struggling to find sponsors. And when he approached us through Daniel, and then we thought, we have never actually done anything for the motocross, so we said it's a good time to do something, and he's such a talented sports person, so we tried our best whatever we could do.
At the same event in industrial area in Kampala, the 12th edition of the Paint and Win campaign was launched. At least 2 billion shillings has been earmarked for customers to win prizes ranging from cash to motorbikes in the campaign that will run for 10 weeks.
And that has been the whole aim, though we are sponsoring the national cricket team and the She Cranes. But again, She Cranes, we started supporting them when they actually needed funds. So, so that has been the whole aim. And again, any sports which requires some funding and there is some very good talent, we would like to showcase that because it also puts Uganda on the map.
AFCON has partnered with Uganda Sports Press Association, Rugby Mongers, the national netball team, the Cricket Cranes, among others. Ngabo Emon, reporting for UBS TV.
And that sports story brings us to the end of this first edition of News Tonight here on UBC TV. Thank you so much for having kept us company. My name is Rukidi Edward Kijjannangoma. Wishing you a good night, but also remember that our last bulletin